Thanks to those joining me live and those who have joined us here on the archive. Just here on the archive, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification. That way you're notified every time we come on live here. I'm being joined by the one and the only Alexis Araiza Mones. How you doing?
Doing great. Doing great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. First of all, before we even get started with anything, congratulations on your big win on a big MVP card in Puerto Rico against the Australian former title holder Ebanie Bridges. Let's start off right with that. Before we talk about the fight itself, so if we go back, how did you get notified about this fight? Like, what was it like just kind of talk to us about that.
So I do have a promoter. I am signed by Marshall Kaufman with King's
Yep.
Promotions. So that's where the fight offer came from. So he let us know, hey, we got this fight offer. What you guys think about it? And it was pretty immediate, kind of like always, of like, yeah, no, awesome. We'll take it. It was a definite yes from the beginning. So it was about maybe like a 4 week notice fight.
Okay. Yeah, it was a pretty quick notice. I did a podcast the other day, and I said, I bet you like they probably didn't even finish the sentence before he said yes, right? Like it's just like, so we got this fight with it. Would you like to? Yes, it's gonna be on MVP. Yes,
Yes,
like
absolutely. Yeah, just
like I already
exactly.
said
Don't
yes.
don't even finish the sentence. Absolutely, yes. Yeah, definite
Like we're
yes.
in all
Yeah.
day every day. Yeah, man. So it was just a quick kind of. I thought this is just from the outside looking in. I figured they're going to bring in Ebony Bridges in. She's been out for 2 years. She had a baby about 10 months ago. So I guess the consensus was they're going to try to give her like a gimme to just get her feet wet or whatnot. And I believe that they thought that was you. That's what I believe. And they
Oh
they
yeah,
they
for
com-
sure.
talked to us about that. Like, did you know that going in? Was that your feeling going in?
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, of course, for sure, that's exactly what they thought, right? If anyone knows anything about boxing, we know how this stuff works, right? And she's a former world champion. She just had a baby. She's coming off of losses, so definitely, I know exactly they meant to get her get your feet wet, a good walkover fight. And on my end, I'm used to being the B side. I feel like I've been the B side my entire career. And people could probably debate that, but I've definitely pretty much had every fight on the B side. Even here in my own hometown, I was kind of still the B side.
Mm.
So it's definitely the truth of it. So with the offer, it to me, it's like I love it. I love the fact that you're willing to fight me because you think it's going to be easy.
Mm.
So, yeah, I mean, of course, they thought it was going to be a walk in the park, and it was absolutely not. It was almost like she got jumped in the park when she thought she was just going for a stroll.
Like she got mugged in the park,
Yeah,
pretty much.
exactly.
Like,
For sure.
it's funny story. So when I and I've told it several times, but I want to tell it to you. So when I was just scrolling on Instagram and I seen like, oh, I've been just gonna fight somebody, right? And I saw the poster and it didn't register in my head. I just kept scrolling, and then I was working. I was just doing something, and then it hit me, and I was like, wait a minute, she's not gonna fight Alexis. Is she gonna? Is that Alexis? So I went back and I looked at it. I'm like, oh shit! I did a double take. That's Alexis, and I don't know why I thought it was a blonde or something. Like it just didn't register. And then I saw the poster again, and I must have called like two, three people, and I'm like, you got to bet on this fight. Like this isn't what they think it is. It just isn't. This is a
Nope.
miscalculation. They're looking at the record. They're just looking at box rec. And to
Yeah.
me, it's just a reminder you can't look at someone's record and just like judge a fighter based off of that on a piece of paper. And a lot of people don't know that you won the National Golden Gloves. A lot of people don't know that you've had a rough road. You've been, like you said, the B side a lot of times. Decisions didn't go your way. Like three judges just decided one night that you were not going to win that fight, and it shows on your record. It just those are things out of your control. They don't understand that the last fight you had was against a really good quality fighter. There's a lot of things that don't register with people, and they may have seen some inactivity, but if they dig deeper, they would have known you were fighting in that combat league. There's just a lot of factors that I don't think a lot of people took into account. Um, I thought anyway it was a good lesson for or a reminder for a lot of people that records don't tell stories, and can you talk to us a little bit about that? Like, do you embrace being undervalued like that, or being an underdog like that, or does it piss you off a little bit? Like how do you feel about it?
I can say it's a little bit of everything, right? It definitely pisses me off. Don't get me wrong. It pisses me off because I know I'm so much better than what I've been given credit for and been valued, and just in the different positions that I've been put in, it definitely pisses me off for sure. I could go on and on about it, but I also do enjoy it, right? I can go into someone else's hometown. I don't have to worry about selling tickets. I don't have to worry about
Mm,
last minute people calling me, do you have tickets to this and that, and all that extra stuff that goes into when you are fighting in your hometown, right? I can say I enjoy that much. I get to go on a mini vacation in a sense because it's business,
mm,
but right. I get to go, I get flown out, I get my hotel, everything's taken care of. I gotta go fight, and that's it. And no one expects me to win. So I have everything to gain and nothing to lose, right? That's to me, I feel like the A side, you have to worry about that stuff. So, right, when you go in as the underdog, no one expects anything but for you to lose. So, I like to also have that because right as a parent and someone who
mm,
has a full-time job, it's a little more stressful in the times that I have fought here at home. It's a lot more stressful, right? When I go out of town, the kids don't come with me. Of course, I love my kids, but it's really, really hard being home, especially in the times that I've fought here at home. You don't get a break from being a parent. So the times I
mm,
think I've fought twice here at home, those days I had to wake up super early and take my kids to school. Right? Day of my fight, I'm taking the kids to school and then coming home, and then kind of I'm the type of person, and once I'm up I don't go back to sleep. So
mm.
fight time, it's hard when I'm here at home. So for me personally, I like going and being the B side in a sense because I can have that time to really focus on me. So it kind of works and on my for my benefit for sure, since I have been the B side pretty much my entire career. It gives me that break that I need so I can focus on myself when I get out there to actual fight time. So it
Okay.
definitely sucks and it pisses me off because I feel like I have
Mm,
lost fights that I did not lose. I think I lost to the judges. I didn't lose to the fighter. And like you said, I had one fight last year in 2025. I technically had one fight,
mm,
and in 2024 I had one fight. I'm lucky that I did Team Combat League in that time because especially last year it was so hard. I would get fight offers against young girls, 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, and here's Alexis always, yeah, let's go, let's roll. I'm ready. And
mm.
they would come back, oh, they're not looking for that type of fight, or oh, they decided to go in a different direction. So it's hard and it sucks. It's because then you're like, okay, well, I'm the B side, and but I still can't even get a fight. The A side doesn't want to fight me. So it gets hard and it sucks. So it's been tough for sure. So what can you do though? I finally got the call. I said yes, they said yes, and it worked out perfect in my favor.
It worked out perfect in your favor, and it's just life is just weird sometimes. Like
Yeah.
sometimes if a decision didn't go your way last year, right?
Mhm.
And maybe if you get that decision, you don't get this call. Like maybe there's no MVP call. Maybe there's no fight
Yeah.
with Ebony Bridges on his big stage in Puerto Rico, and maybe your trajectory is just completely different. So it just there's no way to know. But sometimes it just works out that way. But now you people know now. Like you know what I mean? If they didn't know, now they know. I also
Yeah.
like the fact that It reminds me of. You're familiar with Ray Lewis, um, defensive end of the Ravens, Hall of Famer. Where he's been retired for years, but he had that line on "pissed off for greatness," and it's just like you're pissed off for greatness. It and you're just a fighter that's looking for an opportunity. And I think I'm a sucker for an underdog story anyway,
Yeah.
right? It didn't feel like an underdog win to me personally, but I get it's a big underdog win for sure. Um, you just went through like talking about like being a mom and this is no shade at a lot of the male fighters that I've interviewed, but I interview a lot of female fighters, and they're always talking about all the extra work that they got to do, like being a mom and all that plus being a fighter, and you hold a job too, right? You work full time.
Yes, I have a full-time job. I am actually an assistant property manager. So,
Okay.
yeah, I feel like I have like eight jobs sometimes, right? Mom,
Ooh.
a job, and being a partner, being a daughter, being, a sister. Like, there's just, I feel like for a woman, you wear a lot of different masks for sure. You you just got to get it done. What else can you do, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, no shade at men, but I think we are built to endure a lot more than
Mm.
men for sure, and our just like our bodies are capable of physically enduring a lot more. I think physically and mentally we go through a lot that's not seen for sure.
Yeah, you talk about being a B side, on top of everything else, but like, just in general, being a B side, you don't control the timing, and boxing is all about timing, right?
Hmm.
So, um, this fight was done in Ebony's time, right? Like she decided to come back when she wanted to come back. I'm sure she had talks with her new promoter MVP. They
Hmm.
all agreed that this is the date, and then you didn't get to decide any of that. You were just offered to fight, right?
Hmm.
And,
Yes.
and that comes with being the B side or whatever. I did get a sense. I don't want to say people are making excuses or whatever, but some people are, right? That she wasn't herself. She had a baby 10 months ago. I feel like you're going through your own stuff a lot, and you're not the one that controlled the timing. You're not the one that set the date. You're the one that was offered to fight 4 weeks out. So, are you getting some sense of that yourself? That there's some excuses being thrown out there?
So yeah, yes and no. I mean, I feel like as far as I've seen from her end, she was
Mhm.
very respectful. I don't have anything bad to say about her, right?
Great.
It's a lot of the stuff that I have read, and it's not coming from her, but there has been some things that I've seen and heard where, and it's like you said, and it's factual stuff in a sense, right? She just had a
Yeah.
baby, it's her first fight back, all that. And it is true, but at the end of the day, right? If you choose to come back and you choose to have a fight, that's all in our choice, right? I did the same thing. And I've done it twice, right? Very early in my boxing
Yeah.
career, I had only boxed for maybe like a year, and then I had my daughter. And then the second time, and I think I got back even faster after having my son. So
Mm.
yeah, it is super hard. It's extremely hard. And after I had my son, and I can sit here and I can make excuses. I had my son, my actually delivering my son was a very hard delivery. I had to get induced. There was just a lot of complications when I gave birth to my son, and then I actually, not very long afterwards, just one day got really sick, and I went to the hospital, and I actually had no clue, right? This is how it happens, and I found out I had an ectopic pregnancy, and that was hard. And I was actually already trying to come back and fight at one of the nationals,
Mm.
and went into the hospital because I knew something was wrong. And I had to stay and I had to have emergency surgery. So, that stuff, it's hard. I've been through it. And so that happened. I had emergency surgery. things get a lot more complicated. And I still came back. And funny story, my first fight back, I ended up, because I pushed it back from nationals to Golden Gloves, to Fort Worth Golden Gloves, and then to state. And I fought Nayeli, same, my last opponent, right? I fought her, my first comeback fight from having my son and having those complications. And it was tough. It was extremely tough. Um, I felt like I didn't look like myself compared to what I used to, but I still went in there and I got the job done. And I was in there with the game opponent who wanted to
Yeah.
win just as bad as I did. I think it goes as far as excuses go. I think it just goes back to they didn't know what they signed up for. I
Yeah.
think if they could have fought plenty other people and she would have gotten that win that she was looking for. So I just think it goes back to she could have easily gotten a win, but they picked the wrong person. Um, because I
Mhm.
think she could have very easily beaten a lot of people. I really think she could have. She just wasn't gonna beat me. But that goes back to records are deceiving. And the crazy thing is when we were out there and we're doing interviews and talking to people, everyone had this crazy assumption that I was just a come forward fighter and we were just gonna go toe to toe in the middle of the ring. And I'm looking around like who? Like who? And
Is it
I'm what
another Alexis?
I'm like, I don't know. And for the life of me, the only way I can think of why they would think that is maybe they're watching Team Combat League.
Mm.
Other than that, because I'm just thinking like, if you know anything about me, I've never been a come forward, just brawl, stand in the middle of the ring. With Team Combat League, it was a little different, right? It's totally different. You fight 1, 2 rounds, you go in there, you go at it, and you get out. So I was really confused. It's kind of like, I don't know what you guys were looking at to think that we're just gonna go just duke it out in the middle of the ring, but um, I think there have been excuses, but I just think that goes back to they didn't know what they signed up for. They didn't do their research at all.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think that was the intention. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I think your body work was on point in that fight. Your
Yeah.
jab was on point. Your punches were tighter. I think you had her smothering her work. I think you anytime she had any success, you came back. You gave her even some better back, and I just don't think she was able to keep up with you, right? And there's more dimensions to your game. I feel. So
Yeah.
like, and I think that people did miss that. For
Mhm.
sure, they didn't do their homework, but it's that's boxing, and good for you. I mean, you got to take advantage of that situation.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
um, at what point? Obviously, you're going to go in confident and all that you're going to win, but at what point in the fight did you know? Okay, I got this. Like, at what point in the fight?
I would say from the first round,
Hmm.
it kind of went exactly how we expected it. The fight, me and my team.
Okay.
We watched plenty of her fights. Her style hasn't changed. She fights, one way.
Hmm.
So we figured it'd be the same exact thing, and we went in there, and that's exactly what it was. We knew she would. I love to jab. I love to jab, and I do love body work. So the game plan was there: jab, footwork, right, stepping around, not getting in the firefight. And I don't ever really fight like that anyway, so it wasn't hard
Right.
to not do it right. So I'll say
Hmm.
from the first round, it was, as soon as I was touching her, and I was just kind of like, oh, okay, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. I have an IQ as a fighter. I'm a smart fighter. It's here. Like, all I have to do is keep doing what I'm supposed to, and we got it. So I'll say from the jump, it was pretty clear. And, I was confident in myself that we had it. So it was great. I mean, that's the best, I'll say, the best camp, even though it was short, but we've been in the gym. So I'll say this is kind of the best I've ever looked. And I think this is the best camp and the game plan. It worked out perfect.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I thought it was. I gave you every round, but if people want to be generous, they could give her one or two. But I thought you clearly won for sure. You look sharp in the fight. I want to go back to 2000, early 2024, right? Is this a fight that happened in my hometown? That's the first time I saw you fight. I saw you
Mhm.
fight live, okay? And I thought it was a really good fight. And the interesting part about that fight, it was against the Amy Salinas girl from Las Cruces, but El Paso's like basically in Las Cruces are like sister cities, right? So they're like right next to each other. So she might as well be the hometown favorite, right?
Mhm.
And I remember she came out, she had a big ovation. So like, and even though you're the one from Texas, you weren't the hometown girl there. And I just remember every time she threw anything, they were cheering and the crowd was really behind her. But I remember watching that fight, and I'm there with a date, and I'm like, hey, that other girl's winning. Like they're cheering for this girl, but she's not winning this fight. It was a good fight,
Mhm.
I just felt like you were clearly winning this fight. So I was not surprised at all when the judges announced you the winner, although people were booing. And I remember they're booing, and and I'm not like this, but I just started like arguing with people, like they were next to me. I'm like, that girl didn't win that fight, like, and I
Yeah.
just started doing my whole podcast thing, like, well, tell me the four criteria of scoring the fight, and no, nobody could answer me anything, and looking at that fight, I know, okay, she's not a come forward brawler like people were labeling you. Like you know what I mean? If anything, yeah, you definitely do have a good amateur background, as we mentioned, and you have more dimensions in your game. But what do you remember about that fight specifically?
Um. So yeah, Amy, we knew she was tough. Same thing, tough fighter. She comes forward. Same. Pretty. They're pretty much kind of the same type of fighter for sure.
Mhm.
Very similar. They go forward and they throw when they throw when they throw. Um, and I feel like for my style, that plays into my style really great. I like to box, like to move and to step, body work, and back just really to jabbing. So it was the same thing kind of with Amy. And right, I was definitely the B side. So in that fight
Mhm.
too, I thought I clearly won the fight.
Yeah.
Um, but of course, even with this fight, there's always that doubt in your head, like, dang, am I gonna get robbed? And I even had it in this fight. I still had that same feeling. I've had it in my past three fights of, dang, am
Right.
I gonna get robbed? Even really 4 or 5 fights. Actually, it's you always, no matter how good you do, there's always that feeling in your, like in your heart and your gut that you're just like, ugh, because we've seen it so many times, even in way bigger shows where you feel like someone clearly wins and they get
Right.
robbed. So even fighting her, I thought I clearly won, and I was still worried. And you put the show on at the end of the fight, right? Even your coaches, they tell you like, go out there, look alive, like, no, you won. But you still have that uneasy feeling like, dang, I feel like I won, but did the judges say I won? So even that was really
Right.
nerve-wracking. And yeah, you like you said, they started booing me like crazy. And it was,
Yeah.
even they interviewed me afterwards, and I was like, it's okay, y'all are booing me even though I'm from Texas, but I still love y'all anyways. Like, it's cool, right? I get it. When you pack the arena full of people, you're gonna get booed. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, that was a crazy experience, but I feel like they're all learning experiences for sure.
Yeah. I just remember like after seeing that fight, I'm like, okay, I gotta find this girl, right? So I looked up the card, and that's when I started following you on Instagram. And
Yeah.
I'm like, just so you know, I thought you won. I wasn't one of the ones bowing, okay? But yeah, it's partisan crowd for sure.
Yeah.
What I did have that same feeling though, because I thought maybe the judges were going to be
Mhm.
fooled by the crowd cheering every time she did
Yeah.
anything. So it's this what it is. But and even in this fight, to bring it back, as you
Mhm.
mentioned, I was very confident you won, but judges have surprised me before. So I know what you mean. There's like that, and if I feel it, I could only imagine how you felt it, right?
Yeah.
And seeing Ebony raising her arms like she's expecting it, like to be like, I was like, "Ugh," like this
Oh
like,
yeah.
what's going on? Like, so the moment they announced you the winner, like she thank God she actually clapped for you and
Hmm.
let it be. And then but everybody knew, like, but so there was no surprise there. The fact, like, I thought you won every round, like I said. So it's great performance all around. Did she feel strong in there? I know a lot of fighters have said she's really strong as a fighter.
Hmm. So, in my opinion, she didn't feel strong at all, right? And again, all respect
Mm,
to her. I respect all
okay.
my opponents, but I definitely feel like I have been in there with stronger people for sure. I don't think at any
Mm,
moment it ever looked like she was stronger than me either. Yeah, no, I didn't feel anything that I couldn't handle that I haven't felt before. Not on the inside, she wasn't stronger. Her punches didn't feel,
mm,
like she was super strong. So, um, yeah, I expected her to be stronger even by looking at her, her previous fights. She doesn't have the greatest technique, but she usually nails people with that right hand of hers. That's something I noticed, right? She will really lean into her right hand and really catches a lot of people. She's stopped quite a few people, right? Has to
mm.
have something. She's stopping people, right?
Yep.
So we did think she was gonna be strong or at least maybe like heavy-handed. We expected something, but no, not at all, in my opinion. Once we were in there, and she caught me with a few good right hands, but nothing caught my attention the way I thought, like, oh, okay. But no, I mean, she she wasn't that strong in my opinion. So I think that just goes back to, everyone has styles make fights, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing, a part of too, when you can say like, oh yeah, is this person strong or not strong. I think I'm not a person who just sits there and we're gonna just dink, 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 dink back and
Right.
forth.
Right.
Probably if I was that fighter, then it would probably, maybe I would have a different
Mm.
opinion. But no, I didn't think she was strong at all.
Man, this is reminding me of, like, when they asked Crawford, "Did Canelo feel strong?" He's like, "Nah," and everybody's like, "What?" but
Oh
but
yeah.
again, it goes back to, I guess he never let Canelo show him how strong he is. Maybe it's what it
Hmm.
is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, okay, well, I want to give a shout out to Christine in the ring with Christine
Yes, Miss
Lopez.
Christine.
Um,
Yes.
so I was talking to her on the phone, right, like before your fight,
Hmm.
and I'm like, I'm not the only one that thinks Alexis is gonna win, right? Because I was kind of like, and she's like, nah, I think she is gonna win. And actually, since we're talking about that, one of the first things she told me was, she's like, bro, like, Alexis is strong, like, she's strong. Like, I don't think Ebony knows, like, how strong this girl is, like,
Hmm.
and I was like, okay, that just made me more confident in my pick, right? But that's just one thing that she definitely mentioned, and she also mentioned the body work. They were going to really kill the
Hmm.
body. So, man, like that was something. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
surprised a lot of fighters have actually that fought her have said that she felt strong,
Yeah.
but hey,
No, I don't think she. Yeah, I don't think she is, and I
mm,
think that, like I was kind of said earlier, this camp was the best camp that I've had before.
okay,
No excuses, but I had a real camp. I was in the gym. Um, Weight wasn't crazy. I do love to eat, but weight was pretty good. So, the camp went really well. My weight cut went really well. A brief bit of panic set in when we got to Puerto Rico. Um, our hotels didn't have bathtubs. Right, secrets of being a boxer. You lose weight in a bathtub, right?
ooh, okay,
They didn't have bathtubs, so there was like a brief moment of panic. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" But my weight was good, so then I was like, "Why are you panicking?" Didn't have
mm,
to use a bathtub, didn't have to do any of that, and I still came in at 116.6.
man,
Right, and most people don't understand. I'm a 115 fighter, not a 118 fighter. Have had a lot of fights at 118, but they should have been at 115. But a lot of stuff has happened. But
mm,
on the opposite end, it's happened to me before, right? Fight was supposed to be 115. Things out of my control happened. My last fight, I got hurt the week before my fight. I couldn't work out for 3 days, but being stubborn, like, no, I'm not gonna pull out. I'll be okay. And then, of course, as a woman, right, days before my fight, Mother Nature came to visit, so I came in overweight. So there was, even with that fight, a lot of things happened. And with doing Team Combat League, uh, though I still think I won that fight, I didn't think I lost. I still thought I won very easily. Me as a fighter and my performance, I'll always think I still won because I really genuinely thought I did. I can go back and look and say, the week you can always do more, but even on the back end, I could say, well, I was cutting weight for how many months doing Team Combat League. I got hurt the week before my fight, and then good old Mother Nature came to remind me um,
Wow.
of just being a woman. So and you gain weight when that happens. You gain 3, 4, 5 pounds easily. So it was just things can always happen, right? And that's a good thing about being a fighter, being a woman. You always have to work through these things. And
Sure.
so this camp, it was just a lot better. No injuries, no Team Combat League. I had a real camp. Things just went great. This is perfect. And I think this is why I had the best performance that I've ever had. I think finally the world and those who have been following me, I think y'all got to see the the people got to see the version of me that's in the gym all the time. Cause right, like you're saying, Christine, I love Christine to death. I am really strong. I really am. Like I spar a lot, people who are a lot bigger than me. I spar chicken all the time, like I spar all these DFW women and they're strong and they're usually bigger than me. And if they can say I'm strong, I think that means something, but I don't think anyone has ever seen it. But I think in this fight, it finally came out of the Alexis that everyone here in the DFW sees. So
Yeah.
it was really great. And I am just super excited, and I'm just hopeful to see what the future is going to bring.
Would you be down for a rematch?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I would imagine maybe they'll want a rematch at some point. I'd be open to it, right? Yesterday's price is not today's price for sure, because
Hey,
right, she is a former world champion, and if I beat you and you want a rematch, definitely right, and that's any fight. If you come with the right numbers, and to me, it's like even with that fight, it was the reward has to be worth more than the risk.
yeah,
So if we can come to a mutual, like in Puerto Rico, if we can come somewhere where I feel like it's kind of an even playing field and the numbers are right, heck yeah, I'll fight her again. Why wouldn't I? I need more followers. I need more of a following. So of course, why wouldn't I?
absolutely. Team Combat League. You mentioned it's there's some big obvious differences in just a
Mhm,
fight. Obviously it's still fighting, but it's just a round. Like
mhm.
it's. I mean, even great fighters sometimes take a
Have a
round or
hard
two.
time.
Like, yeah, yeah. Like so like,
Yeah.
how do you approach that? Like compared to just a regular fight, there's no feel out really. So you just got to go out there and just win it. Like,
Yeah. So the of course the money has a big reason, a lot of to do why I did, especially like I was saying, I've been having a hard time getting fights. One fight a year sucks. So that was a big reason why we did it. At least I'm gonna stay active, right? Is how we looked at it. I'm active, of course you're getting paid, but I feel like, and my team also, we feel like I was a slow starter in the
yeah,
past, even in the amateurs. So it was a big way to force me to have to get out there and go fight from as soon as the bell rings. So that's why for me it was such a big deal to do it, because as a boxer, I feel like, right, you take a little bit to get going. So it was really hard for sure, to just go in there and go. And I was always the first fight, and because it goes
hey,
by weight class. So I was always round one, and it's always like, okay, y'all gonna walk out here, go into the ring, go stand over there, come over here, and then bam, go. So it was the reason why we did it was really to get me to the point where I could just go, 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 go. Because you can't control everything that's going on behind the seats. You got to walk out, you got to do this,
Mm.
and you got to get in, you have to be able to go in the ring and get it done. So yeah, it was definitely hard. And I exactly, I feel like if you even look at Team Combat League, a lot of the boxers probably are the ones who have a harder time because we're not
Yeah.
used to it. There's a lot of fighters that they can go out there and they just swing for the fences and they're knocking people out left and right. And some of them have good records, but a lot of them don't. Um, so it was tough. Don't get me wrong. Team Combat League is a lot of fun, but it is also tough because you don't have time to warm up. You don't have time to fill it out. It's just go in there and go at it.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of like some of the greatest fighters of all time. By the way, I don't know
Mhm.
how Mayweather would do in two combat. Like it's just one round. Like it's just like okay,
Yeah.
like what? I don't know if
Yeah.
he wins half of his fights that way. Like it's crazy. What Marco
It's,
Maidana just comes out, throws a bunch of punches, and who do they give the round
mhm.
to? I don't know. Probably Maidana, I guess. I don't know. Like it's
Yeah, it is like so exactly. It's like yeah, you the fighters who usually, in my opinion, it's all my opinion, of course, that are
sure.
more successful are more of those type of fighters because they just go. But like for me, we use it, and I was able to win fights. I did lose fights, but even in that, I feel like a lot of those rounds, boxing is boxing. Even you don't always get what you feel like you deserve, but
Mm.
even a lot of those rounds in Team Combat League, I thought I easily won and didn't win because you're fighting big names. Even in Team Combat League, there's amateur standouts. There's all these names. So even that, it's just another boxing lesson, right? It's Team Combat League. I think it's really good for like the reasons that I did learn to get in there and go faster. Will I do it in the future? Probably not. I
Mm.
think it's time to focus on my actual career. Um, it was fun while it lasted.
Sure. Do you think also one of the reason people probably assume you just come forward brawling style, aside from the team combat, if they watch that, is just the fact that you're Latina, like it's just like a kind of an assumption. Do you think maybe that plays a part with it?
Yeah, I'm gonna say for sure, and I think it's also a Texas thing also. So
Sure.
being Hispanic and being from Texas, right? Anywhere you ever go, I feel like back in the amateur days, even at nationals and stuff, when people would find out they're fighting someone Texas, it's like immediate, like, oh, like they know they're in a hard
Yeah,
fight,
that's
right? I
right.
think it's a big Texas thing, and being Hispanic, you're gonna be in a tough fight, and most of us do come forward and we're tough, and that's why I always say I can do it. I really
Yeah,
can, and I do enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun, and that's probably because of my my Mexican roots.
sure.
But yeah, I that probably does have a lot to do with it. Being Hispanic and being from Texas, they're just like, oh yeah, she's gonna bang it out. They're gonna go in, bam, clash.
There's nothing like I can do it, but I don't have to do it. But
Yeah.
I can. If I have to, I can. If I want to, I can. Right?
Exactly.
Like so there you go. And yeah, I think that that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, look, just a couple of questions, or not questions, but comments from the chats here.
Mhm.
Um, Kehan says, "I hope Alexis gets more fights for MVP after her amazing performance against Ebony Bridges. I know you have, you're signed with King's Promotions, but will you still be open to, if the money's right, obviously, right, to fight
Oh
an
heck yeah!
MVP?
Hey, I hope so too. I'm rooting for
Yeah.
that. I hope they want me back. Man, that I really do. You know what? Being out there was amazing. From
Mm.
getting picked up at the airport, they had someone with a little sign with my name and the coach's name.
What?
They had some right. They
What?
had the our name. We
Okay.
got picked up in a nice blacked out SUV, and they took us to the hotel. And then the MVP
Man.
people were waiting for us. They took us up to check in and do like it was amazing. That was the best experience I've ever had. They took great care of us. It was right. They texting us, "Hey, you
And they
have
did
this
that for
at
the
this time."
B side.
For the B side, they took care of
Man.
us. Everybody. I didn't hear not one person complain. about absolutely anything. Usually you go to these fights out of town, whatever, and someone's usually ticked
Mm,
off about something, right? No,
sure.
everybody, we were just, everyone was happy. There were no complaints. They took really great care of us. They, even getting us to and from everywhere we needed to be. When you're doing interviews or when you're doing even the night of our fights, like they just took really great care of us. So we didn't have to wonder how are we getting there. They were texting us letting know, hey, we're leaving at this time or be here at this time. Hey, it was great. Like I really loved it.
Yeah.
I hope they want me back too. I enjoyed the treatment.
Man, I've heard some horror stories. You might have some of your own too, but I've heard some horror stories the way they treat some fighters. It's just like, well, hey, you find you sign a contract, you find your way to the arena. Like, it ain't our
Yeah.
problem. Like, okay, so
No, they were great.
that's you know what, in this is in all honesty, I have not heard one fighter complain about MVP. Not one.
Mhm.
There's always a one complaint about something. I haven't heard one complain. Everyone, win, lose or draw, they come out and they love the experience. So, and that's good. That commendable of them. I think Jake Paul and Amanda Serrano and everybody out there is doing a great job. Quite frankly, um, I did feel like you should have gotten performance of the night. That's just how I feel about it. But how did you feel about it?
I feel like I thought we did too. Uh, I've been saying this. I always feel like anytime I ever fight, I feel like it's fight of the night. But
Yeah,
I really thought and of course I didn't watch all the prelims. I was warming
sure.
up but you know, from the crowd alone and all the yelling and the everything that was going on and of course people will come up to you after the fight and whatever. Even to this day I'm still getting like, "Oh my gosh, that was fight of the night, blah blah blah." Like, man, I really thought it was. But from what I've heard and a little bit that I have seen of the fight
Mm,
that was before mine, that won, it was a really great fight also. So,
sure.
I feel like, they're taking care of their people too. So I understand it. I really would have liked it, especially since it was a really nice bonus. That would have been
Right.
great. That would have been amazing. But hey, I'm still happy and grateful for the experience. The bonus would have been even better. But even me and Ebony spoke about before we ever fought. We're like, heck yeah, like let's go get this bonus and let's get fight of the night. Like,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, let's get that bonus. You know what I mean? But like that's I thought anyway. But hey, to be honest, I don't think I watched the fight before that either. So maybe I should reserve my opinion. But
Yes. I
that's
haven't
that.
watched it either, so
All right. So
maybe it's just a bias, but I'll say at least on the main card, I thought we put on a really good performance.
a great performance. Were you? I know you mentioned about always being worried about the judges and all that. Was stopping her part of the plan? Like, were you hoping, like, okay, if I get the stoppage, then I don't put in the judge's hands? Was that part of the plan?
So, right, I guess you can kind of always hope for that, right? Because leaving it to the judges is always there's always an if.
Right.
I will be honest and say I've never gone into any of my fights trying to stop anyone or not
Sure.
that I'm not trying with the laser focus of I'm going to stop you. So
Okay.
the way I think of it is if I stop you then great. I'm not going to be upset, but I think that goes back to me being a woman. And it maybe be something different for men. I think as a woman, I, again, it's just we're just a different type of crazy, and I've said this so many different times. We're just a different type of crazy, and I think as a woman, as a fighter, you're just it's just even harder. So I always expect that it's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a hard fight. And again, I've watched her fight before, and she gets her head cracked and whipped and snapped all over the place.
Hmm.
And she always has kept coming forward.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say I expected her to be really tough, and I expected to hit her with the kitchen sink, and for her to still keep coming.
Sure.
So if I would have stopped her, that would have been great. but I felt like this is one tough, crazy chick, and she was already tough before, and now she had a kid. She's gonna be 10 times tougher and crazier. So I can honestly say we didn't just think like, oh yeah, we're gonna go in there, we're gonna stop her. She just had a baby. That wasn't the expectation at all. But I think that just goes back to I think women are different. I think it's women are just a
That's
lot
true.
different.
Well, that's for sure. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Don't look for it, but if it comes, it comes. That's the old
Yeah.
saying in boxing. If it comes, it comes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. Amanda, Will Chairman John says Amanda knows the struggle, so therefore she tries to take care of people. That is
Mm-hmm.
commendable. Yeah, like Amanda Serrano, who's won titles in multiple weight classes, was not treated very well by the boxing industry. Most women fighters weren't, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
A
Yeah.
lot of great women had great careers, but a lot of people either don't know much about it, it wasn't promoted very well, and that's just unfortunate. So it looks like MVP is taking a step to put more of a limelight on women's boxing.
Mm-hmm.
What is your overall thoughts on? Now, you've experienced it firsthand now, but on how they treat just women boxing, because they take it to another level than compared to other promoters.
Oh yeah, definitely. In my opinion, they're doing the best for women's boxing right now. They're paying the women way more than what they're used to. They're fighting for equality in women's boxing with 3-minute rounds, which, if that's the direction that, them or those fighters want to do, then that's great.
Mm,
But yeah, I think she's doing MVP Amanda, they're doing great for women's boxing. And even as sad it was to hear that she's thinking about retiring, I understand it too. She's been boxing forever. She's been,
yeah,
champion how many divisions. But it's a thing also too where on the other end you can think, I can only hope and think that she may stop boxing, but I can't imagine the doors and what she's about to start doing on the other end of women's boxing, right? As a promoter, as a manager, I think when she does step away, I think she's gonna even take women's boxing even higher, right? Now that she'll be able to actually focus on women's boxing as far as making fights and getting women paid, what they deserve. And, like I said, all these belts and title fights for 3-minute rounds. I think she's going to do really great things.
for sure. Okay. You said you have two kids. How much do they understand? Like, mom's a fighter, and all. Like, how much understanding do they have of that?
So I have 3 kids altogether.
Hmm.
So they understand it a lot. So my son,
Okay.
he's the youngest. My son is 5, and he's grown up in the gym. He's a funny kid. We can be at home, we can be in the store, and he'll just randomly go eesh, 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 and starts punching. He starts shadow boxing wherever we're at.
Okay.
It's so they understand it. Both of our daughters, they're 12 and 11,
Okay.
so they're always excited. Our daughters have been to one of my fights. They've watched the fights. They go to the gym and see us spar, and they're always hyped up like, yeah, mommy, or when they see daddy, they're hyped up, they're excited. So they understand it a lot. But they're really great kids. We've also done our part to teach them of like, hey, mommy and daddy are fighters, and but we train hard and we're disciplined, and we do this here, we don't do this out here. So they're great, and thankfully we haven't had issues with them out, in the gym. They know the separation, thankfully.
Okay. All right. Um, a couple more questions, and we'll let you go. I definitely appreciate your time and you being here. Um, so what do you hope to accomplish this year? Like this, it's a new year. You started it off with a bang,
Yes.
big win. Like, are you already talking to your promoter, like to get you back in there, or is there already like what have you heard, and what do you want to get to at this point to get you closer to maybe that coveted title shot?
Yeah, so this year definitely, We definitely want to have, of course, more than one fight a year. um,
Hmm.
for sure. So definitely the goal is to have a couple more fights this year. And I wanna get to a world title fight at 115.
Yeah.
And I would love to do that by the end of the year. That would be great. So we will always shoot for the stars. So definitely that's the
Okay.
goal. Um, right. And at 115, there's a different champion for each belt. So I
Hmm.
would be open to fighting any single one of these champions. Um, I don't care who it is, right? But I do know, right? Even and out there in Puerto Rico, they were like, "But who would you want to fight?" Hey, I want to fight. I would love to line it up with one of the champions, take their belt, and then go to Japan and fight Mitsuki in
Oh, that's a good
Japan.
fight.
Right, and I think that's a great. And she's a southpaw. I have no issues fighting southpaw. Um, Another day in the office. I feel like right.
Okay.
I would love to do that. I would love to get myself a belt and go because that's of course an easier way to get out to Japan. But I want to go out to Japan, and I said this out in Puerto Rico. It's really funny because I want to go to Disney. I want to go out to Disney in Japan, and I love going to different countries. I think
Okay.
um they're just beautiful, and their culture is just amazing to experience it. And I would love to go to Disney. And I have recently, my other half got me into anime, so I do enjoy anime. So I would like to go to Japan, and boxing is can take you all over the world. So I'd like to go out there so I can take her belt, become unified, and get to go see Disney, and then start working on taking the other belts for
Is
undisputed.
there? Have you gone to you? I'm assuming you gone to Disney World and Disneyland here in the states.
I've gone to the. Mhm.
Okay, but you
Yeah,
want to go to the
it's
one in
just
Japan?
yes, because they have
Okay.
anime and stuff out there, and I
Oh,
really
okay.
love their culture. It's amazing. I think even in Puerto Rico, the culture is so different. I love it. I think
Mm,
it's experience. I want to travel the world, and like I said, boxing can take you all over the world, um, and I'm willing to put in the work. So I think that would be really cool. I don't have nothing against her. I just want to go
of
to
course.
Japan. I just want to go to
What about
Japan. Why
Japan?
not?
Like I remember. I'm just thinking back now, like when I was a kid. Like when every time somebody would win a championship, and they're like, "What are you gonna do?" I'm going to Disneyland. Like that used to be like a thing. Like like, but now it's you're saying you want to go to Disneyland, and what is that in Tokyo? I'm assuming
I have maybe I don't even have a clue. I just know there's one in Japan.
we're gonna
I
go to
just
one in
know there's one
Japan.
in Japan. I don't even know where it's at.
Okay,
I just want to go out there.
all right. In your opinion, because so you like anime, right?
Hmm.
In your opinion, is Dragon Ball an anime?
So that is one I did not watch. That was something I want to say that was
Okay,
around when I was growing up as a kid. So I recently got into anime for my other half. So I've watched stuff like Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, Hunter x Hunter. I've watched those animes. I could not
okay.
tell you about Dragon Ball Z. I asked him one day, I was like, should I watch it? And he was like, you're gonna have to invest a lot of time because there's a lot of
Oh yeah.
Dragon Ball, and I was like, ugh, okay, maybe not.
Yeah, you sound kind of busy. I don't know if Dragon Ball Z is
Just a little bit.
yeah, it might take you a while actually, but I know there's like videos that they're like 20 minutes long that explain the whole thing. I guess it's not the same, but I mean, I guess you could do that.
The brief
But
rundown, yeah.
100%. Besides anime, besides bashing, girls in the head, like what else? What else? And being a mom and all, like what? Besides those things, what else does Alexis like to do?
Well, I'll say, spending time with the kids. We like to go to the park. We like being outside a lot. So, like today, our one of our adventures, because even on my days off, it's not like I'm off. But today we went and looked at a house. We're in an apartment right now, so we're looking to rent a house. To Right in the future, we hopefully can buy a home at some point. But so today we looked at a house. And, after we cleaned up and got some stuff done, the kids, we were just outside and they were playing outside right here in front of the apartment. We just like being outside. We love being outdoors. I like hiking, the park with the kids, really just anything outdoors and with the kids and the family. Me and my other half, he's also a boxer, 2-0 with 2 KOs, Mr. Nathaniel Vincent. But
Okay.
so we like to even get date nights in here and there. Not every weekend, of course. We try to shoot for at least once a month.
Dang.
We can, right? Because you have to, when you have kids and you work, right? It's a lot, but for sure we still have to always remain a team and get our breaths of fresh air. So we actually did get stuck in Puerto Rico a little bit. I even hit that. The day of
Mm.
my fight, his flight got canceled, of course, with everything going on in the world. His
Sure.
flight got canceled, and our
Mm.
flights were still good. But of course, I'm not going to leave him in Puerto Rico. So,
Right.
right? We were like, look, we can't worry about that right now. Got to focus on the fight. And I'm lucky I have a cousin who lives out there. Um, from where
Okay.
we were at, she lives like 2 hours on the opposite side of the island. Um, so it kind of sucked for sure. Um, we were supposed to leave Sunday. We got home early Wednesday morning. We found a flight that left Tuesday night. We flew to Florida and we were stuck at that airport overnight, all night.
Dang.
It sucked. I won't say it's terrible, but it sucked a little bit. But we got home Wednesday morning, so I guess we might count those few days in Puerto Rico as our our date nights for a little bit, because of course,
Well,
um, the kids were with his mom for over a week, so we won't bother her for a little bit to watch the
right there
kids
you
for a
go.
date night. So,
She
yeah,
made it up with
it's
interest.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna owe her for sure a little bit, a little interest. No babysitting for a while for sure. So yeah, I mean, it's usually just stuff with the kids, being outdoors. Him and I love food with being fighters, going out, eating, and we do like to drink a little bit, have a drink here and there. Um, and yeah, that's about it. We're just, being fighters, your life it's pretty much fighting. So as much as I'd like to sit here and give you this long list of things we do outside of boxing,
Mm.
um, really a big list. It's a lot of it is fighting, and it's a lifestyle. And with the kids, they're pretty used to it, but we're doing our best to make it worth it for them. So especially with this fight, it was really in hopes of opening those doors, because all the sacrifices that not only myself but both him and I have made, we want to make it worth it, right? And all the hours they spend in the gym, because they obviously don't like it. They really don't at all. But, we
No.
have to make it worth it. And this experience was definitely, that chance that, most fighters we hope and pray for, but we never get. So, definitely that's what this is all in hopes of, right? We can hopefully I'll bust it through the door. They didn't
That's
expect it,
right.
but I hope, I kick that door open, and I hope, they don't close it and don't ever want me back. I hope, I kick the door open and they want me back.
Yeah. You know, fighters like you always make me question fighters that say things like nobody wants to fight me. I'm looking for opponents, but there's no one wants to take the fight. I never buy it, like ever. There was this
No.
fighter, and I like her as a fighter and everything, but a jazzy par from Australia. She was saying nobody wants to fight me. Like it's hard for me to get fights. And I remember you messaged me. You're like, I'll fight her. And I was like, she ain't gonna fight you, but I hear you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's there's always somebody that will fight you. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of fighters out there that are just looking for a fight, literally. Just can't get
Mhm.
one, right?
Yeah.
But I think you've made enough noise at this point where they have to give you another fight. Like it's to me, like there's no way they could ignore what happened. There was just too much noise of it, right? So
Mhm.
and I'm sure you'll seize the opportunity. Um, just one little tidbit here. There's no better feeling to me when I know something that the majority doesn't know, and they're about to be surprised and shocked. And that's how this felt, to be honest. Like it just felt like, oh, they don't know what's happening. Like I was like giddy about it. I was
It's
kind of
like, yeah, I know, right?
like, oh, they think like this is a gimme. It's not. Like I just can't wait
Yeah.
to look at their faces. Like I just couldn't wait. Um, and and yeah, that was a great feeling. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And you made me a lot of money. So there you go.
Man, I heard somebody. They said they bet at one point. I don't know where in the betting scheme, right? Because I know
Sure.
the odds and everything changed. But we had someone who told us they bet $50 and won 250, and I was like, oh my gosh, Alexis, you didn't even bet on yourself. I could have bet
Man.
on myself and made some money, but I was just like, dang, we saw the odds, and I like when I go back and I watch the fight on DAZN, and you can see where the odds are changing like through the fight, and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is crazy. Like I think the last I saw before the fight, I was like, and I don't know anything what these numbers mean. I can only assume it was bad, but I know the last I saw was
Uh,
she was plus whatever, and I was like minus 1100, and I was like, dang, I don't really know what that means, but I think that sounds really bad. But I'm like, I could only just assume they just
this,
really
this
don't think
was
I have a chance of
before
winning.
you said before the fight.
I I think it was minus. I just know it was like really
Mm,
crazy different numbers, and I was like, dang, I have no clue what that means, but I really feel like no one really expects me to win, and I think it's
right.
great. Never did I think I should have bet on myself, and I'm really like,
You
I
were a
should have.
plus. You were a plus 450, which means if you bet 100, you win 450.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
that means.
Hmm.
If it's the
I don't know what I
opposite,
saw then.
yeah, like, um, but I guess I don't know if I don't know. Like,
Maybe I was a
'cause-
plus 1100 at one point. I don't know. I don't. I just
whoa.
remember I just know it was like, I don't know.
I
The
think
numbers were
she
really
was a
crazy.
negative. No, she was a negative 1100. You were plus 450.
Maybe those are the numbers.
So
I don't know.
that means somebody would have to bet, and if they did, they lost a lot of money. $1,000 on Ebony Bridges to win 100,
Oh.
right? Like they would get their 1,000 back and they win 100. That's what that means.
Hmm.
So plus 450, you bet 100, you get 100 back, you win 450.
Got you.
So that's
Huh.
why like the math adds up with the person that told you they bet 50 and they walked away with 250.
Mm-hmm.
It adds up.
So yeah, they
It
said something like that, and I was just like,
yeah.
gosh, I could have bet something on
You could have
myself.
bet on
Jeez,
yourself. You could have made
I could have made a good
and
amount of
that
money.
was because she was out for 2 years and had a baby.
Hmm.
Like if that wasn't the case, you might have been like a Buster Douglas level like underdog, like by the looks of it. So
Yeah.
um, and you probably would have bet on yourself. So, um, but I'm sure you were just focused on the fight, focused on the mission, and not
Hmm.
focused on betting. I don't know if you want to start doing that.
Yeah, I wasn't. That's like I could even be saying the wrong numbers. I just remember seeing the numbers, and I was just like, huh, I have no clue what that means, but I'm
Mm,
sure they don't think I'm gonna win. But
mm.
afterwards, when people were like, "Yeah, I bet money on you," and I was like, "Oh, that's good. Dang, I should have done it myself." But I've never
They
bet. I probably
they
never. I probably never will bet on myself, even though I always
should
will
have
be
asked for
like, "I'm gonna
cut.
win."
Like should have asked for a cut. What I get. You know what I
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
for winning all this
that's
money.
funny.
So
Like, you can throw me a little 20 here. No,
yeah, that's right.
that's
So
funny.
Alexis, I appreciate your time. Um, we just talked about how busy you are, so I definitely appreciate it. Any final words before we let you go?
Thank you to you. Yeah, big shout out to Christine. I love her. She was out there. She's always been super great. She's seen the journey, the ups and the downs. Um, so big shout out to her. She really did send me a lot of love. I got to meet Tierra Brown, and I'm sure that
Yeah,
was because of her. And she's awesome, so cool. I was so glad to get to speak with her. Great person. Just thank you to everyone. My team, my coaches, my other half, my family, friends, teammates. Like this has been a long journey. They say it takes what do you say? It takes a village to raise a kid or something like that.
yeah,
But it's boxing is a lonely sport. But if you don't have a good team around you, it's nearly impossible, right? So boxing is a lonely sport, but it's impossible if you don't have a good team. And I'm finally at that point where I feel like I have a really great team, and I'm just super thankful. Thank you to my promoter, um, King's Promotions, Marshall. I believe it's his birthday today, so happy birthday to him as well. Because right, I got this fight because of him, right? So regardless of what anyone thought, I went out there and I did it, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity and grateful for the support. So thank you everyone who's been here from day one, and those who have just joined. I appreciate everyone.
absolutely. Well, there you go, guys, and we'll wrap this one up. Thank you again, Alexis, for coming in. I'll let you go so you could take care of what you got to take care of. All right,
Yes.
we're out of
All right.
here.
Thank you. Take
Peace.
care.